What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We are your hosts, the Historic Theorists, and we are here today for The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power Season 2 official trailer reaction breakdown, and something else.
Amazon Prime.
Damn it!
But before we get into that, as always, if you want to support the channel, and we do appreciate it, and our last reaction to The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power Season 2 trailer had lots of chatter in the comments, so make sure you drop a comment as well. But hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We love all the Lord of the Ring fan support. Peter, this is your jam. We've seen a couple trailers now. We've reacted to a few trailers.
We've noticed that this is still not my jam. I got school.
Oh, you did. In the comments. Check our last video.
I love it.
Well, it was informative. And we always say we don't take any comments to hurtful, hateful, nothing. We just read them. We reply. We have a discussion like grown-ups. Then we weep behind the scenes. But Peter, you've been talking about Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Season 2 has been coming. We're literally upon it almost now.
Well, now I know that the plan is for this to be, 5 seasons. So, spoiler, we're not getting to the big end game. We keep using this. But the finality of this is supposed to, I guess, be the battle that ends the Second Age, in which Sauron loses his ring and Isildur's heir takes it, and blah, 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 blah.
But again, from our viewers, our subscribers, it's great to get all that information because it does help us interpret what we're about to see and where it's leading. And like you said, for someone who has I'll say a well grasp of the Lord of the Rings lore versus a simple grasp of it, it just helps us put the pieces together. Now, I was comforted in the comments because I didn't watch season 1 of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Okay? I still have not.
Shame.
Okay? But I have watched The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings and all the trilogies and all that stuff. So I do know a thing or two.
About a thing or two.
Right. Now I'm just interested to see where Sauron's going to get. But there's only one way to find out. And that is to watch the trailer for The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power Season 2 on Amazon Prime right now.
War has come to Middle-earth.
Oh, this is a little bit different. Okay. But again, this isn't
that looks dope. No,
the war.
This is the work of Sauron.
So yeah, now...
Our armies can
right, so now he doesn't look... Balanthar?
Once the deceiver obtains a being's trust, he gains the ability to sculpt their very thoughts.
Oh, okay, so I guess that's one of the powers?
Well, yeah, but
You
they begin to poison.
To fear these rings. In Sauron's hands, they could work an evil beyond reckoning.
Yeah, they can.
Ooh, that's slick.
It would be a blow for all Middle-earth.
So Galadriel is...
Sooner or later, Sauron's eye bores a hole.
Keep showing the count. Yeah, that was like a sideways.
You sought peace. I gave it to you. This is hardly a gift. What have you done to me?
So this is where him and Galadriel will start to operate. Okay.
Who are you? Truly, I am the one keeping the storm at bay.
Sauron is my
So you can
enemy
really
as
start
much
to
as
see
yours. I can help
how
you
he's
destroy
poisoning
him.
the mind.
Yeah, he's almost like a false prophet.
Yeah.
Every soul in the seen or unseen world will know that it was you who was the architect of their demise.
This is a much more action.
That's only 2 weeks away, bro.
At this moment, the great tale of our age is being written.
So, yeah.
That looks super dope.
You think it was only you who put yourself in my power?
Oh!
Galadriel.
Right, so this goes... Right, okay.
He coming for the crown.
So this is where one of our new faithful, I'm not sure, viewers was talking about this. So there is a clear disconnect. Now, have I followed up on this? I'm taking your word for it. So what we understand from the trailer is that Sauron, we could have this twisted too, Sauron has made these rings in some form
as gifts.
For gifts for the elves, for the kings, the kings of men, and the dwarves.
Right.
But we found out after our last trailer breakdown was that the rings for the elves were made afterwards in order to combat the
original rings.
Well, then not to combat, but just basically to offset the nastiness of what happened with the dwarves. And see, I'm just going off of what that is.
Leave us a comment.
Yeah.
But what I'm gathering, like again, for someone who has the loose lore, what I'm taking away is that, as I said in the trailer reaction, Sauron seems to be like a false prophet who's like, here's these gifts, here's these rings that give you power, that keeps the enemies at bay, the evil at bay.
When he's really doing it himself.
Right. He's causing the trouble
He's pulling the strings.
It's like he's creating the problem only to fix it, to look good in the eyes of the people he's fixing it to, but you created the problem.
But people are, like Celebrimbor is totally understanding. Galadriel knows.
Well, people are starting to catch on now. And those people who are going to catch on, he's going to have to take out the picture.
Well, we know that Galadriel is not going to get taken out of the picture.
No, but, others will, I'm sure.
And we know Elrond won't either. We're seeing a large battle. Now, will that be one episode? Will that be stretched over several episodes?
It looked epic. It looks like it's gonna build. Then I think, like you said, you might get a full episode of just the battle alone, potentially.
And Sauron is like a being of pure evil too, because he's the prophet or the follower. His Sith Lord was Morgoth. Who fell, and then his tutelage kind of went to Sauron. So he's trying to, I think, finish what Morgoth started.
One thing I did always wonder about, and again, this is where my noviceness shows maybe, is that, you always talk about the Eye of Sauron, but he's dead. So, but in this, he's like grabbing some kind of fireball eye that, like, what is the connection
Well, that's
there?
a Palantir. So I'm pretty sure that's a Palantir. Palantir is basically where Sauron is able to, we always heard in the Lord of the Rings trilogy that it is coming through in the fire because Saruman was caught looking at it, and eventually Pippin starts to kind of do the whole thing when he gets the jibby jabber and goes down.
Right.
But that was the only way that he could really manifest it. He did the Voldemort thing, like he was just kind of mist or whatever. He didn't have a physical form.
That's what I was getting to.
We saw, I think there was a part of it that was actually in the first season. I can't remember. But it was also, maybe it wasn't the first season, I think it was in The Hobbit, when we saw the Eye of Sauron, but when we looked at it deeper, the pupil that we always saw was the slit of like the cat eye, was actually Sauron in the fire. Now, was that a creative thing by Peter Jackson?
Yeah,
probably. But maybe it's a kind of prison that he's in. I don't know. It's kind of cool to look at it. But it's neat to see him in his elven form of which he's using to poison the mind of Celebrimbor to hopefully forge the rings which become the demise of everything in the whole. There's so much to go on. I don't know
how they're going to drag this out. Not drag it. I don't mean that in a negative connotation, but stretch it out to 5 seasons when it seems like he's so close to achieving his goal. Something must happen where it delays it into a sense that he maybe urgency or.
Well, there's part of it. Obviously, people push him back, and then everything is going to push towards the war that ends the Great War that ends the Second Age. But all I know is I'm looking forward to it, regardless of whether this does not, if it messes with the lore or it doesn't, whatever.
Which
it still looks like something that I'm definitely going to watch because I did enjoy the first season. There were a couple of moments when I was distracted watching the first season. There were a couple of characters that I didn't really care about, but I am going to go back and rewatch season 1 in preparation for season 2.
Okay. All right, cool.
Because it's deep. It's like Game of Thrones. There's a lot there. It's like an ogre. There's layers. We're like onions.
You take that. I'll take it. Agatha all along, and in the end, we'll come up with some content.
No, I'm watching both.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for our trailer reaction for The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, Season 2 official trailer. As always, if you want to support the channel, Amazon Prime Video, if you want to support the channel, leave us a comment down below. But first, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. And with that, I am the real Jussy.
I'm Doran's Bane, and like we always say around here,
keep it real.